I'm going to tell you 3 steps on how to manage your budgeting so you can achieve your financial goal, and we're starting right now. What's up everyone? Welcome to my other YouTube videos. If this is your first time here and you want to see more videos on career, life motivation, and personal finance related topics, click subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Every time I get my paycheck, I'm just so happy. It's just so nice to see the balance up on my bank account, even when it's going to start decreasing from there because of living expenses. But how much should we spend? Is it okay if we spend it all as long as we're not overspending it? Because we're going to get paid again next month anyway. But what about saving or investing? Well, today I'm going to tell you step by step on how you can do your budgeting, and by the end of this video, you should have a clear idea on how your own personal budgeting should look like. So make sure to keep watching till the end. Before we start, please note I say your own personal budgeting. I'm not going to suggest you to follow some famous budgeting rules because I believe budgeting should be personalized and tailored to your own personal circumstances and personal goals. But with that being said, even though we're not going to follow any of the common budgeting rules, it's still good to start the discussion very briefly with one of them, just so we can have an idea of what some people think our budgeting should look like. So the rule is called 50-30-20 rule. As the name suggested, it's 50% of your paycheck used for your needs. So needs in here is defined as the necessary cost for you to keep on living. For example, accommodation, food, utility bills, and loan repayment. 30% of your paycheck is allocated towards your wants. This is basically all the things that you want to enjoy and things that are not necessity. For example, social outings or entertainment. The 20% of your paycheck is for your savings. Although I think this is a very nice rule, it's simple, easy to understand, and most importantly, it gives you an idea on how to do your budgeting very quickly. But I still think we need to tweak it a little bit so it suits you best. Why? Because maybe some of us want to save more than 20% for a dream house down payment or starting a business. Maybe some of us have needs higher than 50% because of medical bills or having dependency, for example. So how do we create our own budgeting? Step 1. Know your own finances. It's very important to know your finances so you can know how to adjust your spending. This step actually sounds simple, but do you know how much exactly you usually spend for each spending category? Well, most of us don't. I personally didn't know how much exactly I usually spend on foods or clothes each month until I decided to do budgeting. I know every month I usually have some leftovers, but how much exactly? I didn't have a clue. You'll see why this step is very important in a minute. In order to get to know your own finances, you need to do 2 things. The first thing is to figure out how much you have been using on average. For taking the average, there is no need to see how much you have spent in the last 5 years because it will actually skew the result. It's just too much work, and your lifestyle 5 years ago and now is probably different. Just the average of a few months, like 3 to 5 months, should be enough. But you should pick the 3 to 5 months that are good representative of your usual spending activity. If you're having unusual activity in that month, for example, moving country or going on vacation, then you shouldn't take that month for the average. Second thing is to get a breakdown of your spending by each category. Please check out the link to my website below to get the free template on how I usually do my breakdown. Getting the breakdown is actually the key reason why you need to know your own finances. You can then analyze the weird and interesting spending that you have had and ask if this is how you really want to spend your money. Sometimes we just don't realize how much we spend on unimportant or random things until we actually see the number. This is why this breakdown could give you really good insights that you can work on. You may not know this yet, but maybe after you have done your breakdown, you have over a few $100s on subscription because a single subscription is usually not that expensive. and that's why we tend to subscribe to them. But they all add up. Do we really need all of them? Or maybe you'll find out you spent $3,000 for shopping or partying and only have $500 for food. Does this kind of spending make sense to you? Is there anything that you want to change on how you spend? Which of this spending category you think you can spend less or should spend more? I'm not going to give any suggestion on this because everyone have their own personal lifestyle and priority. You need to figure out your priority and keep step 2 and 3 at the back of your mind while you're doing this. Step 2. Set up financial goals. You can either set up a short-term or long-term goal, whatever motivates you best. But just to share how I usually do it, I usually ask myself, how much money do I want to have in 5 or 10 years? Then work backwards to figure out how much money I need to earn and save per year and on a monthly basis to achieve my goal. I usually do a yearly or half-yearly check too to ensure that I'm on track. The reason why I have such a long-term goal is that it personally excites me that I'll have that much money if I stick to my plan. I mean, because it's longer, so more money can be saved. For example, just random, let's say my goal is I want to have $1 million in 10 years. In the back of my mind, oh my god, I'll have $1 million in 10 years compared to, oh, okay, I'll have 500,000 in 5 years. Please keep in mind, since this is a long-term goal, things could change and your goals sometimes get readjusted. But you should always aim to keep and or improve your goal only. So for example, $1 million might seem a lot to me right now, but let's say in 5 years time, I ran a really successful business that generates millions of revenues per year, then it'll be a good idea for me to readjust my goal for the remaining years to have, let's say, $3 million, for example. I'm setting up my goals as an end value, but you can also set up your goals as how much do I want to save or how much more do I want to earn. By the end of the day, the end result would be similar, but it's just the way you frame your thinking. Step 3. Set up a plan to achieve your financial goals. You have set up goals, that's awesome, but now you need to think about how you can achieve those goals. There are 2 main ways to achieve your financial goals. Save more or earn more, or even better, do both. If you want to save more money, start listing down how you can save it from the breakdown data that you have in step 1. For example, from step 1, you notice that you have spent a lot of money because you're fine dining way too often. And you think you should reduce it to special occasions only. Another way is to earn more. You can do it through getting a new job with a higher salary or keep your job and do other things on the side. For example, starting a small business on the side, get a part-time gig over the weekend, or freelance work. Just to recap everything, so you have the first step, which is getting to know your finances so you can analyze your spending and figure out how to adjust this spending to suit your goal. Then the second step, which is setting up your financial goals. The last step, which is to set up a plan to achieve your financial goal. In this last step, you then need to use your spending breakdown data that you got from step 1 to figure out what you can save more and what you could do to earn more. Please feel free to post a comment down below if you have any finance related topics that you want me to discuss in my next videos. In the meantime, I also make videos on career and life motivation, so make sure to check these 2 videos right here. If you like what you're watching today, please click on the subscribe button if this is what interests you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a nice day and a great week. I'll see you guys again in the next video. Bye!